In 1962, a business school student wrote a term paper with a crazy idea. 60 years later, it would turn into a $150 billion brand. While Phil Knight was writing his theory, track and field coach Bill Bowerman in Oregon was obsessed with another idea: to make running shoes lighter by even just a few grams. Knight was Bowerman's former runner. He came to his coach with a crazy idea and asked for $500. They shook hands. And just like that, Blue Ribbon Sports was born, the predecessor to Nike. Knight flew to Japan, to the Onitsuka Tiger Factory, and introduced himself as the boss of a non-existent American company. They believed him. He secured the rights to distribute Tiger in the U.S., without a warehouse, without money, and without a company. He smuggled the first batch of sneakers through customs under the guise of research samples. Knight sold his very first sneakers straight out of the trunk of his station wagon at track and field meets. Their first full-time employee was Jeff Johnson, a running fanatic who worked for next to nothing because he believed in the idea. Johnson opened the world's first Blue Ribbon Sports retail store. But behind the scenes, a problem was already brewing that no one knew about. The problem was simple. They were 100% dependent on a single Japanese supplier. One phone call, and the business would be gone. While Knight was looking for a backup plan, Bowerman was experimenting in his kitchen. That Sunday morning, his wife asked him not to touch the waffle iron. He didn't listen. The waffle iron was hopelessly ruined. But what he pulled out of it changed athletic footwear forever. And thus, the waffle sole was born, lightweight, with perfect grip. It became the company's signature technology for decades to come. In the summer of 1971, their contract with the Japanese expired, and the printing of the first batch of boxes under their own name was starting in just a few days. The brand didn't even have a name yet. Jeff Johnson said the name came to him in a dream: Nike, the name of the ancient Greek goddess of victory. He called Knight in the middle of the night. Knight wasn't particularly fond of the name, but there was no time to look for another. And so, the name Nike was born. The logo was commissioned from a graphic design student for $35. Her name was Carolyn Davidson. When she showed the sketches, the team's reaction was lukewarm. She herself later admitted, "I didn't really like it. But I decided I would grow to like it." The logo was approved after all. No one in that room suspected they were looking at a symbol that, half a century later, would be worth more than the entire company at the time. In 1972, their very first proprietary model was released, the Nike Cortez. It became a hit among runners almost immediately. Their first live brand face wasn't a model, but a rebel, an Oregon student named Steve Prefontaine, Bowerman's own pupil. Prefontaine openly fought against the rules that banned amateur athletes from making money. He was the living embodiment of the brand's philosophy: challenge the rules. In 1975, at the age of 24, Prefontaine died in a car crash. The company lost its hero, but it did not lose his spirit. During those same years, the company hovered on the brink of bankruptcy. Debt was growing faster than sales. They got lucky. A massive jogging boom began in America. Millions of new enthusiasts were looking for sneakers and choosing them. In 1980, the company went public. In a single day, the founder became one of the richest men in America. Success made them overconfident. They stopped listening to the market and didn't notice as a competitor swept past them on the turn. By the mid-1980s, Reebok had surpassed them in sales in America. The company that started as a rebel suddenly found itself playing catch-up. A desperate move was needed. Two marketers proposed allocating a massive budget to a completely unknown NBA rookie. The rookie himself, Michael Jordan, actually dreamed of signing with Adidas. Nike had to offer something no one else ever had. Designers created a sneaker in a black and red colorway, colors that directly violated the National Basketball Association's dress code. The NBA officially banned the shoes. For every game Jordan stepped onto the court wearing them, the league fined the company $5,000. Instead of backing down, the company kept paying the fine and turned the ban into an advertising campaign. Banned by the NBA became their primary sales slogan. The sneakers sold out instantly. The company, which had been losing market share 3 years prior, was once again the talk of the town. In 1987, a small Portland advertising agency received an order for a new campaign. The founder's name was Dan Whedon. According to one agency legend, the final phrase was inspired by the last words of a condemned man facing a firing squad, spoken shortly before his execution in 1977. Whether it is true or a myth, Whedon himself never fully confirmed or denied it. Whedon reworked the phrase into 3 short words that were easy to shout, easy to remember, and impossible to forget. The campaign launched in 1988 anyway. Within months, the company's revenue surged by hundreds of millions of dollars. By 1990, they had officially overtaken Reebok to become the largest athletic footwear manufacturer in the world. The company began signing legends from various sports, from golf to football, turning each one into a living embodiment of its slogan. But the rapid growth had a dark side. In the mid-1990s, the company was accused of severe labor conditions at its overseas factories. The story hit the headlines of major newspapers. The brand's reputation, built on rebellion and freedom, suffered a severe blow. The story hit the headlines of major newspapers. The brand's reputation, built on rebellion and freedom, suffered a severe blow. The company had to publicly acknowledge the problem and overhaul the operations of its partner factories, a process that took more than a decade. With the advent of the digital era, the brand reinvented itself once again through mobile apps, customization, and direct-to-consumer sales. In 2018, the company took another risk by making an athlete at the center of a political scandal the face of its campaign. The company's stock dropped and then soared higher than ever before. Today, the swoosh is recognized in every corner of the planet, from the streets of Tokyo to African villages. It is one of the most recognizable symbols in human history. From a $500 garage startup to a global empire with tens of billions in revenue, the journey took just over half a century. Just do it. 3 words born from doubt, risk, and perhaps one grim legend. And this is not the end of the story.